Hello, hi. Back again. Gonna be doing some more Blender work. I don't have the chat pulled up in my phone because my phone is almost dead. Actually, I should probably plug that in before we start. It feels like that's a good way to not have a dead phone. Just
Hello, hi.
Oh
Back
gosh,
again.
I can
Gonna
hear
be doing some
terrifying.
more Blender.
That's how I was
Blender
gonna
work.
fix this. Is gonna
I don't
have
have the chat pulled up in my phone.
I can't
because my
talk at the
phone-
same time. Okay. I don't know if you could hear myself talking a second time, but I could, and that was rough. That's how I'm going to deal with not having my phone available for chat. I'll have it open here on another window. No, you know what? I'll probably be here long enough. I'll just pop over on a break. That's what I'll do. Also, sorry about the construction behind me. There's a building in perpetual state of being built. I hope that doesn't pick up too much. Just a little bit of hammering away. They'll eventually get it done. They're working real hard. They have been for the last year. And they probably will for the next year. I don't know. I'm not mad at them. I feel like I'm coming off as like a little passive aggressive towards them. And hey, I mean, how else do buildings get built? They don't. Buildings don't just come from trees. Anyway, back with the blender. Let's do a little blender today. Since I did the whole introduction stuff yesterday, I don't feel like I need to go over as much of the basics today. But if you did watch yesterday's, then you know that I'm gonna set up some stuff in the ways that I do for this project to create 300 renders. This is render number what is this? Blender number 38. No, 39. Number 39. Yeah, Blender render number 39. Even though it's the second stream, obviously I haven't streamed all of them. I don't plan to stream all of them either. There will come a time where I need to just get some finished. But the ones I'm working through right now, I've done two with objects that are void of all color, being black, and the background being hex number FF Final Fantasy 0000 Cloud Strife. Never really played a Final Fantasy game. Never really played a Final Fantasy game. I've always wanted to. Always wanted to. I tried when I was a younger person. Got my coffee today. I tried when I was a younger person, and the problem was I was a younger person. And not that young people can't figure those games out. I feel like most people I know who like those games played them a lot as children. But it just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. No, I just wasn't giving them the kind of attention that I should have. I don't know. I just didn't click with them. I didn't vibe with them when I was a younger person, and a child. I was a child. It takes a level of like mental like wherewithal to be able to play those games. What to make today? What to make? We're talking about Final Fantasy. Could do kind of like a cutout of the Buster Sword. Again, since we're working with, that might kind of look cool. It's working with black items, red background. There is just kind of the feeling that you got to make certain, because I'm not doing like a velvet. I'm not having the material of the items absorb all of the color. I'm doing it in such a way as to the objects will still have reflection, but I'm going to turn the light red, so the light will be red, but you'll be able to see that reflection off of the items. So, yeah. I'm kind of imagining, imagining like a sword swipe down, like the sword, like doing like an animation of a sword starting here, and then just like as soon as the animation starts, it rotates to being horizontal, like a swipe. And then I think I can make like swipe marks come off the back of it. Like I wonder if I go to frame 40. Part of this is going to be learning with me, you know. What can I do? Go here, but then if I go to frame 1, it's not okay. I could, but okay, if this exists at frame 1, if it's here, what does it look like to go very quickly? This is not maybe how it should be done, but I'm going to be doing it this way if I go away. So then frame 1, instantly gone. So that's how I can make something disappear. There's probably a way to like alter its properties to exist and not exist on certain frames, but we do things how we can do them. Yeah, I kind of want a blade going down. Okay, but the question will be how do we get something to appear? On a frame and not in another frame. Well, I'll think about that for a minute. As we listen to the dulcet tones of construction, I can like just perfectly see them. They're just really toiling away. It's kind of a beautiful like cityscape because I can just see the tops of some like tall buildings as they're working. Huh. It's kind of pretty. I might take a picture. I don't like taking a picture of people like working sometimes though. It kind of feels weird, invasive. Let's build a sword first, he said, with all seriousness about what he does during the day. Okay, starting with a single vert. Maybe it would be easier to start with a shape of some kind. But I want to try this first. When you start with a single vert, it's kind of my most comfortable way of like drawing in 3D space. Because if you start with a single vert, it automatically puts you into edit mode, which we talked about a little bit yesterday. Holding down tab, here are the different modes. Object mode, just moving things around, rescaling them. Basically just kind of like what you would do to an object. You can take it, rotate it, resize it and stuff, but you can't really alter what it is at its core shape. All too much in object mode. Whereas edit mode, it can become anything you'd like it to be. That's why when you're in edit mode with a single vertice, you start there, and then if you hit E for extrude, from that vertice, you can create another vertice and connect it with a line. So now we have this line. And this is what I'm kind of imagining for this Busta sword. Hey there, Busta. And then if you, oh, my X-ray mode is on. If you, let me go back and I'll do that again. So I have my like kind of initial shape here. I was for a long time, and this feels silly, but I was like extending the final vertice to extrude right up into the last one. So it's like a straight line like that. I was finding that was not necessary and caused more problems than not. most of the time. So what I would do is I would get near the shape, and I would know that these last two vertices I would want to be a straight line. If you double click the line itself and then hit F, it'll fill. It'll fill it with a mesh face, which looks like this. It's a little dark. And when you're in edit mode, up here at the top, there's the different select modes. This one's for vertices, so when you're choosing things to edit, it'll be the vertices that you're altering. This one is the lines, so this is the lines you're altering when you select them. And then lastly, face. I use face quite a bit. Face and vertices. Lines, not so much, but I could see there being some use cases for that. But not all the time. Let me check here. Not all the time. There's occasionally just stuff that I could see wanting to adjust, make things a little smaller. But vertices I do use a lot. So I've got this here. I'm not going to be too worried about moving the camera too much because, again, we're just kind of working with one object for this idea. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to select all of these since it's a two-dimensional object. That's all the vertices. And then I want to look at it from the top down, and I want to extrude it to give it a little bit of thickness. And then, because it's a sword, shrinking this down be better? How does that look? Nope. That's a no. I think what I'm wanting is... yeah, that's not right. What am I... I'm wanting these two just to come together. So maybe if I... grab... That's more what I'm wanting. Make like a triangle. How does that look? Feels a little silly. It's not really what I'm wanting. Let's delete these vertices. Create that. That's a little bit better, but I do want this. Let's grab it and go a little this way, and then a little in, a little bit more narrow. Again, I'm not actually doing like a replica of a Buster Sword here. I'm just doing my own thing, which is a good way of getting out of any kind of valid criticism, right? This is not right. I believe I have made a mistake somehow. Why do I keep turning on? Oh, beans. Why does this look so dark? Oh, I'm in wireframe mode. Holy cow. I was like, why is this continually looking like it's... I'm in X-ray mode. Okay. There we go. There we go. That doesn't look like a sword. Now... I'm thinking about this too much. I'm overthinking it. Yeah, overthinking it. That's good enough. Actually size it up. Oh, remember I said this yesterday? Object, set origin to geometry. And that was why. I don't know if you saw that, but like here, this little orange dot down here, that's currently the origin. So if I'm like, oh, I want to move, or I want to scale this, notice it's scaling from that origin, which is just not particularly helpful. So if I set origin to geometry, now that orange dot is there, I can scale based on that particular spot. That works. That works. Let's create a base. We'll do a simple base. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum. We're just gonna do that. Size it down that way. Size it down that. Whoop, whoop. Something like that. Go back to this view. 3. Let's make it a little thicker. A little thinner. Looks a little silly, but I think it gets the point across. Right. I mean, it's a sword. It's a sword. Again, part of doing this has been for me a practice of getting better at making things I'm not the most proud of, which sounds like I feel like anything. It's so weird to talk about creating stuff, especially something if you're like, oh, I'm gonna do an art thing, because it's so frequently, it's just I don't know. It feels like a lot of what I'll say sounds like a cop out or something. Like, oh, it's like I want this not to look good, and that's not what I'm wanting to get out of anything. It's just simply like I don't expect this to be like magnum opus or like something like grander than it is. It's just a practice. This is all like a practice for me. Like creating these things is like, okay, well, I learn something every time I create one of these, and in doing that, that's how I learn the most. I was for a long time learning the software. I was going in and watching tutorials and trying to follow them along, and I would get so discouraged because it would be like, make this gorgeous rose. I didn't try and make a rose, but just for the example of this, I would try to make a gorgeous rose, and I would get frustrated because either it would look identical and I would be getting kind of bored with that, or it would not look anything like the rose of the person I was following along with, and I would get frustrated. And I realized it's like there's almost like no satisfaction that I could find in it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would learn a lot from those, but I wasn't sticking with tutorials because I was learning things, but I didn't know when and where I would want to apply them, versus when I would have an idea, even if it is as simplistic as this dorky sword here that I've made, this goofy sword. Let's look at like who even who is she? This is a ridiculous sword. I don't know. I learn a lot more from just having an idea and trying to execute on it. And again, everybody's different. So, I mean, like, I think a lot of people, probably maybe even the majority, learn really well from watching a lot of tutorials and stuff, which I still need to go back and on the last time I streamed yesterday and add those links I had mentioned for those that I did watch and recommend to kind of get some base ideas and stuff. I don't know. I just found that like having an idea and attempting to execute it, and when I would run into a problem, that's when I look up that specific need. I was finding help for specific needs, and that's how I found a lot more satisfaction. And like I was making stuff. I'm making stuff that I'm at least momentarily proud of and learning from. And then having as far as like sharing that stuff goes, like, I don't know, there was a lot of stuff I didn't share when I would first learn. I would just like make a chair and be like, I've made a chair. I think that was my first thing. I was like, okay, I get the fundamentals of it. I'm just going to make a chair. What's the term? There's an acronym. It's like, MVP, most viable product. Meaning like, if you are required, it's just somebody's just like yelling at you, like, make a chair in Blender. Just make a chair. On threat of, destroying all of your copies of, the Family Guy edition of Monopoly. That's the threat. Somebody says, I'm going to destroy all 272 copies of Family Guy Monopoly that you own unless you just build me a chair in Blender. No other stipulations. Rather than like being stressed out and be like, I can't make this chair look X, Y, and Z. Like, it's 4 cylinders with a square top at the very top. That's technically, it's a stool more than a chair, but what is a stool but a chair? And you're done. So kind of like working on that principle of like, I just need, like, I can always make the chair better. I can always add, 2 more cylinders and a, rectangle back, and then it's like a it's a stereotypical like school chair. Like, you can always make it more realistic or make it anything but. If you're just going into it for like self, like improvement I found just being like, okay, like this. I was like, okay, I just need to make a sword. And I had a kind of, again, we were talking about Final Fantasy, thinking about the Buster sword. So I was like, I'm going to have that as like my kind of mental thing. I could get some references and stuff and make it more than that, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm intentionally just, I'm not trying to just make a Buster sword. I'm trying to make whatever it is I'm trying to make here. I'm going to parent all of these to this. Oh, did I already parent them? Oops. There we go, my bad. I'm actually going to parent them to this. And what parenting does is, again, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but now if I move this, the hilt, the base of this hilt, everything comes along with it. So to do that, select the items you want to be parenting. I want the handle, the saber itself, and then the last item you pick is the one that's like currently selected. And then Command P, and then parent to object. And that's how that was done. But now if I rotate this, oh yeah. yeah, that's what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Cool, great. Whoa. Is there a, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just do this real quick too. Oh, let me, let's take this, whoop. Make everything the right color. Turn everything black here. Okay. Turn the light red. Please. 4. Sorry, it's probably loud. Loud click clacking on the keyboard here. I feel like 5 frames is a good amount. So click the hilt, lock the rotation here, and then we're gonna go 5 frames into the future. And now rotate. Will this work? Lock. Yeah. Cool. Move it over a bit. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is a sword moving. What does this look like? Render image. That's a sword. That's a sword. Oh, you can't see the sword. Hold on. There we go. That's the sword. Looks like a sword. Kind of. So yeah, what I was kind of thinking is like where see if I can come up with a way for the sword to have streaks kind of come down. And I actually have an idea for this that I think I want to mix 3D and 2D. I think I want to do like 2D white streaks to follow it. I'll animate those on top, and with mix of using like Krita and what's the other one? DaVinci. I think it'd be kind of cool. I like using languages and lettering and stuff to kind of convey a thing. I think if I maybe like added like a film grain or something over top of it to kind of like dirty it up, just have the swipe down with white streaks, and then I'm like imagining a like kind of like jittery like Japanese lettering. My partner is really good at speaking and reading and writing Japanese. So maybe they could help me with like the katakana or hiragana of sword and putting that in like shaky kind of handwritten font behind it. That feels silly, just being like sword. It feels there's something kind of like cool and inherently stupid about that idea that I really like. Like just I could put like a and then just like sword. I don't know. I like that idea too much, almost not to do it. Okay, let me. Oh, what a goofy idea. Sword. Oh, that tickles me. That's funny. That's funny. I don't care who you are. Oh, you know what I haven't done that I said is a good idea, and make sure you do, is save. Yeah, I found out yesterday. You guys can't see my files, which makes me feel better. I don't have anything. It's just concerning. It's weird. Like, I think it's a. I don't. I like things to be clean. I also have a very dirty desktop. Um, I think I think most people who know me know that. It just makes me self-conscious. I should do better about keeping up with it. Okay. Saving the sword. Yeah, I don't really want to go over that in stream, just because it's it's not Blender and it's not. I don't know fully how I'm wanting to accomplish that, but I have some ideas. I think that's gonna be a thing. Just like yeah, I have my socials in the description, so keep an eye there, I guess, to see when I eventually put this together. I'll export it though. How long should this be? Two, three, 4, 5. That feels right. 100 frames. Again, this is not like I'm literally having a sword swipe and then writing sword above it. Feels silly. However, like that's been my process for learning this. Like I had an idea and to execute on it and learn from it and kind of go from there. Actually, you know, it would be kind of funny too to expand on it because actually, what the thing I wanted to work on today was like having different angles of the same thing. No, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this at this. I need to catch up on some more final renders and stuff. So I'm just gonna export this one and move on to another one. We'll do another one. How do you export this? There we go. I think I really talked through this too much yesterday, but if you go here to the output tab, once you've selected and set all this up, there's also, here's the camera tab. I don't mess with that too much quite yet, just because like I did a little bit when I was first working in Blender. You can kind of play with focal length and stuff, and it can be really fun. Kind of easing myself back into using that when I need to, not using it just because it's there, creating bloom effects and whatnot. Anyway, going down to output here, you select the file you want your output to be in. And this is how I export animations. I could probably afford, and if you're only doing, 100 something frames, you could probably afford to just render out the animation, going here and selecting your FFmpeg video rather than PNG, and then going down to let's see, post processing. Is that? Or is it color management? This is the only way I've done it, and so you basically you could render out an animation just by going up here to render and then animation. I prefer this way. I think I explained this yesterday, but just for the sake of it, I do this because if you render out things as all of these as PNGs, I'm going to do 100 PNGs, and the reason I do that is because is a good practice. Say my computer wasn't able to handle it as well and it only got to frame 50, but I wanted 100 of these. Truth be told, I could really just go to frame like 10 here. That's actually probably a better practice. I could probably just have this render out to frame 10 just so I'm not using as much space, because since the image is just going to be standing still after this, I'll do that. Do some better practices here. Because there's a lot of better practices I could be doing. I'll try to get better at that. Anyway, this way, if for whatever reason, it only got to frame 5 and then was like, I can't do this anymore and stopped right here. But I was like, oh man, rather than having to redo the whole render, I could just select it, start from frame 5. And that way I'm not having to go back and re-render everything, because renders can take a really long time if you have a bunch of information, a bunch of stuff to render out. It's like a big notorious thing unless you have some kind of mammoth of a computer. I'm working on a laptop here, so I'm lucky that Blender does what it does. My understanding is, like, again, Apple and Mac don't tend to actually work particularly well for Blender. However, I do have a MacBook with a M1 chip, and I guess that's kind of considered not the bare minimum, but like on the lower end of what can make something work, make Blender work. So, yeah. Anyway, select the folder you want your PNGs to come out in, and then render animation. This will take just a second. Now that's done. You didn't get to see that, sorry. Go over to the top here, add workspace, video, editing, and then just like adding an object, add image sequence. Boom, boom. I don't want to replace these though. Select all the images you want to be adding, and then it creates them into a video. Change the metadata. Nope. Post-processing. Nope. Encoding. I always can't find the container style. MPEG 4. Now, render, animation. Done. I mean, it's already, it took half a second. Goes a lot quicker when you render it that second time out this way, because it's basically just a, what is that? I don't remember what those are called, but just a digital workspace here for editing. That's how I get those out. So now we have the final product. Let me pull it up so we can take a look. It's in a book, Reading Rainbow, rated R. Open with QuickTime Player. No, not that. Hold on. There you go. There it is. There you are. So now we have sword. And sword. And did I mention? Sword. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for this to be something that I'm like, I mean, to me, it just can't be just this. So again, I'll add some streaks behind it, and I'm thinking, yeah, to animate just some like, I'll take the hiragana or katakana for sword. So funny to me. It's such a silly thing to do. Sword. And try and just make it kind of like a crackly handwritten text to appear. It's funny. Well, feel good about it. Let's do another one. Shall we? Yeah, we'll save. File, new, general. And we're back. Square one. Let's do one more. Oh, that does mean I'm free, free from the confines of making something with red background and black objects. I've done 3 of those now. They've all 3 been animations. That's kind of cool. That makes me happy. There's just a lot more variable stuff to add with animation. I really wanted to, I think this is what I started to say, and then I was like, I'm not going to do that for this one. I really wanted to do something with multiple angles. I wanted to animate, because again, I felt really good yesterday about how I animated the camera to make it move. I treated it like an object, and that really, really excited me for working with animating things. So I am going to play around with that. I'd like to do that more. I'd like to do, because again, I like conceptually the idea of you can build a scene, you can build basically a whole scene here, and I mean just do it shot by shot. You could set up the location and then move the players or items or whatever it may be around in that how you see fit. Still thinking about sword. It's a problem. Let me take a break. Let me just take a break, walk for a second, and hop back. See if I have an idea. Yeah, let's do that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water, plug my phone in, like I said I was going to, and yeah, we'll just see what we can do. Yeah, I'll be right back. back, obviously. Be concerning if I wasn't. If I was just here. But not back. I would never do that. I would never just sit here. I would do that. Boo boo. All right. I have an idea. That's all I needed. I just needed to rinse out my coffee glass, get some water. Always be ABDW. That's what I say. Always be drinking water. And if that acronym stands for something else, no, it doesn't. It just stands for always be drinking water. All right. Stream's looking good. I have an idea. So, I have been, I've mentioned this, I've been working, kind of just trying to limit the number of colors I have to create things, kind of working in that regard. So I think rather than, because my initial thought was like, okay, well I did red background, white items, red background, black items, and then was going to do white background, red items, black background, red items. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that's the way I want to take things exactly. But what I want to do is I think I've got kind of like a cursory idea of something for like white background with black and red items, but not having them be like allowing both colors to reflect light, so as to make sure that we capture depth. So that is where, I should probably share my screen. Is that, I was cutting off a little bit of that. My bad, I'm sorry. Goodness. Well, there's the full screen now. Sorry. Again, I'm mostly wanting to show these as like here's my process for doing stuff. So, I don't know. My apologies. I'll get better. We'd keep doing this. It's always about improvement. Would rather see improvement than not doing something, right? Okay. So, can I move? Yeah, no, I didn't turn that on. Remembering in to bring up this menu, camera lock to view, and to remove that. Now we can see things for as they are. Going to the world properties, white. And so, yeah, I wanted to look because, let me just make this that. So loud. So yeah, here's what I'm looking at. Let me show you. I should turn off. Is that QuickTime? What is this? No, it's not. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I could see, I'm feeling inspired by this situation. Feeling inspired by this. I'm imagining like a red ball, because that's a classic animation practice, is to draw and animate a ball bouncing, because it's, it deforms as it hits the ground and bounces up. I've never done it. So, as you can tell by me speaking about it, I'm like, it deforms and then shoots back up. I don't know. I just know that is a classic animation, like, practice. But how am I gonna go about this? What do I want? Well, let's hop back in. Get rid of this guy so you can see. Delete this. Let's delete everything. Actually, bring that back. But I want a new item. So a thing you will see me do frequently is if I want to create a sphere, something spherical, they have the option here to do like a icosphere or a UV sphere here. But something I will do a lot is go down here and make a round cube. Crap. Let me move this so you can see what that looks like. A round cube. Just kind of a cube with soft edges. You can kind of see here they're beveled so that they, instead of just being a 90-degree angle, they kind of round. And what I will do is down here where it says add round cube, before you click anything else, because if you touch anything after you have input and made this cube appear, you won't get this option again. So I don't know if there's a way to go in and fix it. The way I was taught was like, no, you just do this first if this is the outcome you want. If you want to make a sphere this way. If you click round cube and we're up here where it says radius, if you turn that from 0.2 to just 1, creates this round cube. And the thing that you'll note as a difference between just doing it this way versus doing like an icosphere or a UV sphere. So we have the icosphere here, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, sorry. Just make sure I'm right. Icosphere, UV sphere, round cube with a 1.0 radius. So I think my understanding is that this round cube and this sphere, this UV sphere, are pretty much the same. The UV sphere is just subdivided. So if we look at it a little bit closer, see it's got a lot more of these faces, a lot more vertices. So if I go into edit mode, you can see it has a lot of vertices versus this looks like about half as many. So these two are, a round cube and this UV sphere, very similar, and will get you a similar result. But the thing is depending on what you want to make, this is the UV sphere is going to give you a lot more options because you have a lot more cubes. So if you go in here and you wanted to move some of it and stuff, you have a lot more to play around with. However, it takes more power, it takes more everything just to kind of get that running because it's has a lot more points to articulate in Blender and from your computer. So making a round cube this way, half as many, a little easier in terms of processing. And then the icosphere, the major differences here are these faces that it create are triangles. Now, I don't know what the benefit would that be. I remember being told it in some lesson I took, some tutorial I followed, mentioned that there is certain workflows or outcomes in Blender where having triangular faces results in an outcome that you would want. I just typically, because a lot of the times when I'm wanting to create a sphere, I'm wanting to create something smooth, and the squared faces just kind of result a little bit better than that. And then I typically want less vertices, so it's a little easier. I have to let my cat out. I've locked them into this room. I'll be right back. Such a sad little kitty. Just wanted to be free. Typically I use the round cube just because it's less processing, but still gives me those squared faces to work with. Cubed, squared faces. And again, typically I want just a smooth surface. So you can do this to any of these objects, but you go when you select any object, I don't know why I'm working from the camera's perspective. That's very silly. I think it's because I'm streaming this, so I'm feeling the need to do this. Although this is cool looking. I like this. Say, might play around in a creative space with this. If you select an item, object, click object up here, and then go down to shade smooth, you will get a smooth shaded version of that object. Now, again, one of the reasons I don't use the icosphere is because typically it'll have these bumps. It's not kind of perfectly spherical in a way that I want it to be. Has its time and place, but not what I'm wanting. Now, this is going to be the smoothest of them because it has the most vertices and ways to kind of articulate just that smoothness. Now, look at that. You can kind of see a couple of points here. But, I mean, especially if it's not selected, that looks pretty spherical. All in all. Lastly, doing it to this one, shade smooth. Yeah, see, it's when I shade smooth both of these, I mean, you can see here, I mean, 1, 2, 3 versus like 1. It definitely smoother. Like in order of smoothness, if I smoothed all of these out, it would go like first, second, and then third. So that's a good way of looking at them like that too. That's typically why I go with a round cube. Still gives you those squared faces, but not as many as an icosphere. And what you can do also, whoa, where am I? I'm in the camera's triangle thing. That was weird. One thing you can do, if say you want the points of articulation of the UV sphere, but what you don't want is that processing. You don't want that many vertices slowing down your computer, or you just kind of want to have it run a little bit smoother initially, but then at the finish line you want to add back those. You can do that because what you can do is if you select the UV sphere here, go over to modifiers, add modifier, and then add subdivision surface. And what that does is it adds those for you, which you won't see until you can do twice as many. Oh, pardon me. Add levels of subdivision times 2, and then apply. And so now, remember, this is what this UV sphere looks like. It's got a lot of points of articulation, right? Go over here, go to edit mode, twice as many now because I added 2 times as many. So, as a matter of fact, if I go back, okay, so if I go down, I think this is going to be the same. Nope. No. Apply. So now, yeah, these look almost identical now. So that's what a round cube is just half as many vertices. But you can always do this subdivision subdivision surface modifier, and then you add twice as many, or 3 times or 4 times as many, and then you have all these points of articulation. Whenever you see people like sculpting in Blender and doing like really, really fine detailed work, they're going to have a lot of vertices. It's a lot of points of articulation that you can adjust, bend, move, carve to your will, to however you see fit. Look at that front view. Where are we at? Where am I? Where are you? And truthfully, I'm so sorry. Cannot sleep. Cannot dream tonight. I don't know. I kind of like these different. I'm going to sneeze, and I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can mute myself before I get there. We did it. We made it, folks. That was terrifying. Okay. Thinking not an animation. I think I want to. Do 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 do. Do do do. I have an idea. Do you see my vision? Can you see? Okay, but what this is telling me is that I don't want the different style of cubes. I just want this one. Oh, wrong way. I do that all the time. Move it in the wrong direction in space. A number pad is clanking. I like them being smoother. Oh, you can't see it. My bad. Sorry. It looks almost identical. Well, I wasn't gonna do any. I was gonna do an animation, and then I was like, maybe I won't do an animation. But now this gives me an idea of some kind. So I did this here. Oh, I moved the cube to the left. But then what if I made these the red? Something. Certainly something. Okay. We're going to add some keyframes on everything. I have frame 1. guards to their location because they're going to be moving at the top of the round. Okay. Circles are moving, the spheres are moving on the z-axis, squares moving on the x. I just kind of want like a continual movement kind of feeling from these items. Sorry, I'm having to like, oh, scared me. I'm having to think this through. Best course of action to do this quickly and wrap this up. 20 frames feels right. 20 frames feels like would make sense. Every 20 frames, they swap. Okay. And we'll do that for like 200 frames. So, I'm going to now, I want this cube to go where these are. But just on the x-axis. So, take this, copy the, no. See, that's where I need to be smart about this. Because if I moved this cube, then I wouldn't know where to put the other ones. Got it. Okay. Sometimes you know that there's like a mistake in your future and you have to be like, what is the mistake and how do I avoid it? And that's how. Okay. So I've got that, so I want boom. And then I want to copy this guy. Bedoing who hath messaged me. Lock it in. Lock it in. So now, starts here. Whoa. Okay, perfect. Cubes taken care of. Maybe I should go forward and just do the cubes first. Finalize the cubes, then do the spheres. I think you can kind of see what I'm working at here. I'm like doing this like backy forthy, uppy down kind of thing. But okay. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Okay, so where they start. I'm very sorry. I need to take another break real quick. I apologize. I'll be right back. Just like 5 minutes. Be right back. hit the wrong channel. Back. Let's get rid of Chrome and pull back stuff up onto me phone. Make sure my phone is turned down. Yep, there I am, adjusting the chair. Now I'm pulling up the phone. Okay, and we've caught up. It's real time now. I don't have much longer. That was the wrong tab again. All right. I don't have a lot more to do in this. It's going to be a little bit of a tedious process, but I want to finish this. So while I'm on stream, have this. Now at 40, that's locked in. At 40, let's go where this is. On the x-axis. Actually, if I remember correctly, yes. Can I just copy and paste these keyframes? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. See, sometimes you just got to get up and go to the bathroom, and then you come back and you get all the right ideas in your head. So it's 40, and then at 80. Oh, what is that? Why did that happen? Oh, because there's no in between. Okay, I get it. What? Why did this? Oh, it copied it to all the properties. Well, that's not what I meant. Why did it do that? That was a weird thing to do. Why would it do that to all of that? Well, what good is that? If I just do that. All right. My big brain idea didn't work. This helps a little bit seeing this timeline here, though. So, okay. Now it's just a copy-paste game. That's okay. Here's what I'll do. I'll do it this way, though. So it goes there at 20, and then at there it also needs. Okay, and then at 100. Oh, that's a way of doing that, too. Okay. Then at 140, Sorry, I know this is like watching me silently do simple math. We'll make 220 the final frame. Okay, just need to do this. What is this? 5 more times. Okay, so I've got these two. So needs to return here. Copy that. There, goes back, should come there, and then goes back to where it's at. Right, okay, plus 40. It's 120. Oh, what am I? Okay, that's why it's so confusing. I'm such a dingus. Golly, I can just do this. Okay, so then by here. Come on. Boom. 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 And boom. Right? Seeing a missing one there. Go. Boom. Okay. 2 down, 4 to go. Okay. 40 goes back. Then at 80, we don't have to enter it in. Sorry, I'm like way away from the microphone. And then at 120, lock it in. 160, lock it in. 200, lock it in. 240, lock it in. Now we go back to 20, get this X location, copy. 60, Boom. Boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. 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 Okay. So now the cube should be done, right? Why does that first one look weird? I locked a couple of these into place. Nah, that's fine. Okay. Oh. Have we been saving? Nope. Here's some noises. Okay. Okay, so everything for the spheres is locked into place at the start. This will go a little quicker because I didn't do this in a weird way. Okay, so that's that. Now, frame 1 locked into place. Frame 40, lock it into place. Frame 80, lock it into place. Frame 120, lock it into place. Frame 160, lock it into place. What about frame 200? Will we lock it into place? Frame 240, lock it into place. That center cube, I did a weird thing, and I don't know what it is, but I kind of like how it makes it a little unnerving. A little off. Finally. Cube 3. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. One frame off. Lock it in. And lock it in. Now, back to top cube. I want at frame 20 the z coordinates to be the same. Lock it in. Lock it in as the bottom ones. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Locked it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Okay. Now, back to frame 1. I should only need to copy that once because I'm going to go here and here. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Said lock it in. Locked. Locked. I'll go back to frame 20. Talk to this gentleman. Lock it in. Lock it in. Almost there. What a journey this has been. Just make stuff. Have fun. Create. Doesn't have to be best thing on the planet. Sometimes it can just be some cubes and spheres doing this. Whoop, whoop. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on there, middle cube? What seems to be the problem? Somebody didn't lock it in. Okay. Cool. This is weird. It's fun, though. It's a fun little thing. I like it. Not a loop, but that's okay. This room's getting hot. I need to bump down the AC a bit. Okay. Still looks like this. I'll take it. Do I want to adjust the camera at all? Probably not, right? They said doing it anyway. I like this better. Glad I did it. Is this where I want the light, though? Sure. Okay. We're done. We're moving on. Save. Output. Okay. I will show what this looks like after I get it all set up so we can see it all together at once. Render animation. It's going to take a second. But that means I can do this. I can go here. Watching it go. Boom. Watch it this way. See what rendering out all 220 frames is going to look like. Slow motion. I'm going to wrap this up once I get this video file. And then I'm going to take a quick break. And I want to play some games. I have been wanting and meaning to stream playing games for a hot minute. And I always let something else get in the way of it. But I'm going to do it today. I need to just be streaming the stuff I want to be streaming. And not that I have been streaming things I don't want to be streaming, but yeah, that's just it. If I'm feeling like doing a certain thing, then I'll just do the dang thing. I really want to play the Scorpion King for the Nintendo GameCube, I think. It was GameCube or PS2? Nintendo PS2. But it's not my favorite game. I want to make I've been working on mentally, and I started and I stopped a series trying to play through every game that has had a movie based on it. And I tried to just record myself doing the gameplay and then editing something together, but I would rather stream them. And so I'm going to play through Scorpion King for what will be my 2.5 time, because the first time I got halfway through, about 3 or 4 hours, maybe even more, and the game froze. It's a frustrating game. It didn't freeze. A mechanic didn't trigger, and there was no way to go through and adjust that. I had to start the whole thing over again. Fortunately, I knew how to avoid that in the future. But okay, that is done. So now we're going to go over to video editing, as we do. Make sure we're on frame 1. Oh, it is getting stifling in here. Select all 220 frames, but do not replace them because I don't know why I don't want to replace them is all I know. Now they're there. Now you can see it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Perfect. We'll watch it once it's done, though. I go back to that, and then encoding, MPEG 4, render, animation. Love to see it. This one was silly. This one was silly. But that's okay, like I said. I just want to be making stuff, making progress. That taught me what it was like to have multiple items move all at once. Oh, come on. For some reason, video recorder or voice recorder is what my default opening a file is. And it's like, why? Like, who would do that? QuickTime Player. You need to make that my default. OBS. That's not. No. That's the sword. There we go. Okay. Now we can watch this 10-second clip. That only took like less than an hour. That's it backwards. Okay. Definitely just like a tech demo thing, but it is a render. So consider it complete. That's the 40th of my 300 that I'll be making. And you know, again, it's just shapes and squares moving. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. We've all seen this, but anyway, this helps me. This helps me know kind of the workflow and what to expect when moving multiple objects together at the same time, kind of syncing those up. It helps me. That's all I'm doing this for. I'm helping myself. So, my goodness, it's really wild looking at my beard with this like sunlight coming in. It looks kind of gray, and I feel like I'm like Gandalfing it up, and I'm not. I promise. I wish I was. I would love to have gray hair. I don't know where this is going. So anyway, that's that one's finished. Let's wrap things up here, shall we? Got to finish the sword one a bit, but we'll get there. We will get there. Said I'm going to do that and not on the stream just because it's a different process, different program. I don't fully know what I'm doing, and I just, again, you'll have to. I have my Instagram information down there, and that's where I post these with their titles and where I am in the getting through 300 of them. It's probably going to be just a short break between this stream and the next one because I want to knock out streaming for the day. Because again, what tends to happen is it's like I'm going to stream later tonight, and then I'm like, actually, going to bed sounds nice. I have some video editing to do. I also need to get done, but I can do that later. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's been fun. I'll try to keep doing this because it's a fun way to like get a consistent amount of this work done. It's also just a different mindset. So there'll be renders and stuff that I won't do on stream. That just because I need to be doing them off stream. I'm gonna quit talking because